Hello. Hello, hello. It's time to make a mutant killing dealing machine. Let's go. Yo.
Hello,
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm so tired. Holy moly. It's crazy.
Oh shit.
Be ultra chill. What time is it for you? I'm just curious.
It's 12:15.
Oh, sick. So you live in Europe, huh?
Yeah, Finland.
Sick. Okay, cool. All right. So since you have a pub VOD, I'm thinking maybe let's do some live stuff. Do you have any like? What should I call you, by the way? Santos?
Well, like I would prefer like Saop, but it might be like hard to pronounce.
Saop?
You can
Okay,
just say,
that's chill.
you can just say Soap if it's like easier.
Saop is a cool name. We'll go with that. Okay, so, um, can you tell me like a little tiny bit about how Apex has been lately and kind of prioritize whatever you don't like?
Like
Just the first things that pop in your head is what I'm really curious about.
well, I don't like how ranked feels.
Okay. Tell me a bit
Also,
more.
like, well, I feel like ranked is only enjoyable if you have friends, and solo queue is like so miserable.
Yeah, that's really true. Okay.
And usually in like other games, that has been like my number one like way of getting better.
All right, so that's probably a really big obstacle, huh? Okay, so we
Yeah,
can talk a bit about that and then also do some live stuff and work on like your fighting on like a fundamental level. Does that sound chill?
yeah.
All right.
I grind a lot of R5, and I feel like my mechanics are like the best. Like when you compare it to my like positioning and stuff like that, I feel like mechanics is my strongest.
Okay, so I would combine those two concepts into one for sure. Like even
Yeah,
team play, I would say is very mechanical. So I would be careful with like separating that
mm,
R5 versus or mechanics versus positioning. That sort of separation.
yeah.
Um, okay, so can you can you live stream your gameplay and then just like get into something where you're fighting a lot and we can just literally talk about this if you want and just have you play in the background like whatever you want to focus on. If you want to talk more about like making ranked better basically for you, or if you want to just go straight into fighting and team play and stuff like that, that's gonna help you anyways. Up to you. But yeah, just let's get you shooting people and we'll talk about whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Apex.
Cool.
First game I whiffed so bad. I ended up dying here.
Yeah, right here I kind of felt it.
Yeah.
Shoot, hold on. All right, so my feelings right here is that your teammate is just so far away. And so understanding that, you can play like a lot more safe. Supposedly, right? So let's see how you're playing dangerous. So I wait for you to open the game.
The ring. Got the position.
All right, so we don't need a full commit, in my opinion, because we have, well, we could say that, but we have drop off here, we have drop off here, drop off here, and we're like very much in the middle in like a full commit sort of spot, right? So
Yeah.
that definitely hurts when our teammate is a little bit far. And then this here, I think something else is going on that we're gonna be able to tackle in live.
We're inside the ring. Got the position.
So if you look at this, there's like a really simple pattern going on that's making you miss your shots. I'll try to point it out. So basically, I want you to look at the jerkiness of your aim right here in this moment when he's like been changing direction. So he just started decelerating, and at this frame we're like, okay, he's slower. In hindsight it's easy to say, but in the moment what's really going on is like your focus is probably going from his hitbox, which makes all of this obvious in VOD review, probably going from here to like maybe here or here. Maybe you're thinking about your cover or even your gun somehow or something like that, right? So he slows down like a lot. Okay.
Yeah, I think if I like do recall, it felt like I zoned out. Like I wasn't thinking about anything really. Only like after I whiffed like both of my mags, I was like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing?
Okay. Yeah, so this movement right here is what got me. I think can't really tell, but your crosshair I think has overcorrected all the way over here. Quality's a little bit weird, but I think it's right here above where your ulti is in the middle of your screen.
Yeah.
And so
the quality, it should be like better if you can change it.
Alright,
it should be.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Oh yeah. So basically, I want you to notice the pattern of like movement re-accelerating. We'll watch it in live speed. So he's gonna decelerate, and then at the beginning, like, I feel like your brain right now is looking at strafes as like the acceleration is like this, when really the acceleration is like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Does.
So it's just a tiny little thing that the way that you fix stuff like this that's really ingrained is you just notice it simply. You have to be able to trust yourself and keep noticing what you're doing, and then it will be impossible, I swear to God, to continue doing this the same way. So right here, he slows down, decelerates. Let's say his speed one frame ago, before he started slowing down, was 100. He goes to 100 speed, and then he goes to like 70 speed when he's on his way back, right? That's the pattern that I'm talking about. Whenever someone changes directions, obviously they're going to decelerate. You already know that, but it's just your sense of like how long they stay slow. In your mind, it's like, oh, they're going to be slow during this part of the strafe. I see that you understand that and you can feel it. But in reality, it's like very slow, medium slow, kind of slow, full speed. But then we just see insta jerk to the left, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Maybe
I feel like in game there's like definitely less friction, like with like noticing their like slow when they strafe.
It's like not very vivid of a sense, you mean? Yeah, that makes sense.
Like it's much more noticeable in R5, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we can focus this pretty well in Revival, I think, if they still have that. Another thing is your movement here applies to the very same principle. So if you in the game are playing the game as if acceleration is this type of acceleration, like speed, time, it applies to your movement as well. And I can kind of feel, I'm not sure if I'm reading too into this, but it kind of feels like when you change directions back here and you're kind of doing like a little bit of jiggling, you're not feeling yourself get really slow at these edges of your strafes. And so we can see, like, look at your jumps and look at your total horizontal movement. You can look at it back here, and we can also look at it in his hitbox. If you focus on his head and how much we can see his ears when we go left and right. It's kind of weird to explain, but basically
I've seen you explaining it multiple times.
Yeah, we're changing directions here with our keyboard, and we're not accelerating as fast as I think we are. like when we go right here, I think that may be part of you overcorrecting to the left. It's the same problem either way. Basically, your acceleration and his acceleration, there's this like curvature feeling that doesn't need to go unnoticed. So you're gonna start noticing that you're kind of like out of touch with how fast strafe speed actually is. You'll notice when you're feeling like it's like this versus like this. So expectation, and it's like your disconnect between your expectation and the reality of strafe speed. So just get curious about that. Expectation. Okay. You have your game open?
Yeah, I have.
All right. So I want you to notice one more thing before we go into the live is after we point all that out, it's going to be a lot easier to notice when we watch it in real time. I want you to watch this and just cringe. Tell me how it feels a little bit. So just that small window.
They changed the revival to straight shot revival. It's like, I think, faster pace.
All right, that'll be fine. All right, just watch this one more time. I want to get your thoughts, your feelings, so that we can make it more memorable for you, you know, more impactful. So just take into account, just notice the disconnect between the strafe speed and what you can feel yourself expecting the strafe speed to be from both you and the enemy on every change of both of your strafes. It's very weird, but just get whatever feeling pops into your head first. It doesn't have to be complicated or special. Are any feelings popping up when you look at this?
Yeah.
What is it like? And we can play it in slow-mo as well. And just pay attention to the same feeling, but also in slow-mo. See how it feels different. Alright, you can let me know what that is. I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling before we just go into the live and look for this in real time.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to like find an adjective. How do you say it?
It's just like, what does this do to you? Like, after we watch this same moment 50 times, it's going to feel different, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I do feel like that exact thing has like happened to me like many times when I play.
Cool. So we're going to be able to actually improve this a lot, I think. So
Yeah.
it feels familiar, you might say, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Familiar. We'll start with there. And then hopefully we're going to have like a name for it and stuff. And, you know, it's going to be like a Pokemon, all right? We're going to be like, that is happening and happening and happening. So for me, it feels a little bit chunky. Like the acceleration of enemy and you feels chunky. There's this chunky movement of our mouse. It doesn't have to be scientific, whatever. It's just, that's what I'm going to call it, chunky. And I'm sure you understand a little bit because it looks and feels a little bit chunky. We'll be able to recognize it. And then another thing that I noticed is that while this guy is turning, this is the other thing that we're going to be pointing out. So there's kind of multiple patterns going on right here that are messing up your aim. So this guy's strafing all the way this way, okay? All the way this way, straight. He gets low HP, he gets scared. So he also has to reload. He's low HP. He's scared. He has to reload. We can almost expect him to do this turn so that he can disengage, right? It's really common. Yeah. So what happens during the turn that we just witnessed and are witnessing right now is that his speed will plummet. It's a very small window. I don't want to overplay it like it's like a half a second window where he slows down. But when the enemy is turning 90 degrees, their strafe that is formerly like this, causing you to aim possibly all the way over here and all the way over here, it curves. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So now you're only possibly aiming here and here because 10 units can only go this speed or this distance when they begin to curve. So there's this curvature that you'll start to notice with the way people move and a slow corresponding with it. So pay attention to how slow this guy gets when he goes from this to this, just in the transition. It's like a 0.2 second window. It's very small. We'll try to get the very exact timing. Okay. It's really hard to tell. Get a feel for this speed right here. Like, I would give that speed like a green if we're going to give it a color. Green, and then maybe a bit brown orange for just a millisecond. Just a tiny bit of time. That amount of time where he turns, it's slower. You start to see the beginning of it. You start to see the slow of it, and we go back a little bit further and look for it a bit tiny bit earlier. So this is full left to right. This is as fast as he can move you. Full left to right, and then he begins to turn. So for that whole time just then, he was turning, and so that movement speed can throw you off because when they turn, they're gonna move at an unexpected speed to what you're used to. But really, it is a pattern. You can expect it. Every time you see someone turning, you can notice this difference. So let's do this live and see what else we notice. And I'll just call that the candy cane slow, because when their strafe turns, they're moving like a candy cane sort of shape.
Lock and load, rinse, repeat. It's that simple. Roger. Let's go that way.
Okay, there should be people this way, I think. The respawning system is kind of weird.
Yeah, I haven't even played this game mode yet.
Yeah, the game like chooses your landing spot.
I see.
Enemy spotted near me. someone out there. Stay focused. Reloading. Need a medic.
Yarg. Yarg.
Hold on tight. It's time to
Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking screenshots of when I notice patterns, and we can talk about them whenever.
It's good to be back. Let's show them how it's done.
I wasn't really looking where my teammates were.
Kill confirmed. Down to target. Got that promotion, but the upgrade will be slow.
Alright, I need you to remember something.
Yep.
When you were attacking that Octane and you saw that he was looking 90 degrees to the left, remember that you were moving left and right really fast, like as if he was gonna shoot you. And you were making it so you lost a lot of damage.
Yeah, I was like, it's a like reflex basically.
Yeah. Give that a name. Give that specific feeling a name so that we can point it out better.
Let's get to the LZ. New kill leader. If they're getting cocky, they're getting sloppy.
I'm so bad at coming up with names.
You're good. Like, the first, really, what I'm asking is the first thing that pops into your head. Because that's gonna be the most, like, if it was fucking
Cracked an enemy shield.
polar bear, something unrelated, right? It doesn't matter. It's a bookmark, right? That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Take fire. Check your sectors. Another squad. Get in the chimney. They got me.
Alright, same pattern as the Octane, but this time it's gonna be from a different sort of perspective. So in the first instance, when your teammate was next to you and there was an enemy sort of between you, you had something I call an angle gap, where the enemy is looking 90 degrees away from where you are. So
Yeah.
you would have a 90-degree angle gap, which means that their movement speed is like 0. From 90 degrees, they're going to be dodging left and right. That makes sense that their movement speed is 0 to you. Or if you can tell me anything about that.
I'm back. Let's
Basically, that last death, there was an enemy between you and your teammate as well, but neither of you had an angle gap, right? You were both looking at them from the back or the front. So what you can do is you can slide to their side and give your teammate an angle gap. Make it so that they can do more damage with you, and you get the kill faster.
Yeah.
Make sense?
give my shield to reach up.
Yeah, I got kind of like confused because I wasn't sure where the enemies were.
Yeah,
Like in that situation.
yeah.
Better not leave this un-
Yeah, whatever distracts you from this, definitely let me know about it, because I think that's going to be the thing that helps you more than the actual goal itself. It's like, if you can notice what you tend to be distracted to when we're talking about these concepts that are coming back up, if you can get to know the distraction better, you're going to start naturally doing these things without forcing yourself. Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm spotted. Reloading. Each lead.
Perfect example. Yeah, there you go.
They got me. I'm down.
Yeah, I realized he was looking like 90 degrees from me.
Yeah, I noticed that you adjusted, like, you started moving in a way that you did more damage, at least
Yeah.
from my POV. What I would do if I was on your own and you're working on
Yeah.
this concept, because you can really drill this concept, is what you just did was a perfect way to be like, okay, I did it. That was great. I noticed it, but there was still a disconnect. Always go to the disconnect and see what you can notice new or different. Basically, see how your awareness of the disconnect changes. Like, you just started noticing this, and so you're still gonna fuck it up. You're just gonna fuck it up in a very different way. And as you notice that, it's gonna help you a lot.
Yeah, that like still felt like I was predicting like their movement.
Yep.
Like in like many situations.
Yep.
Like on the example of the horizon.
All right, so let's see what that feels like next time when you see someone in the same sort of feeling and you have that urge to predict or to still dodge. And let's get to know that urge that is hurting you.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm like struggling coming off with like
You're good.
names for the things.
You're good. If you're struggling with names to come up with the things, just literally say the first thing that pops into your head, even if it is like not even English. It doesn't matter. Really, what matters is that you are feeling what happened more than usual, and that you see what word comes to your mind, simply. So that whole situation, that was different from what we were just talking about, but it was similar to our first death when we died, and you said you weren't paying attention to your teammates.
Yeah.
To me, you're in a situation where the cover is limiting you regardless of where your teammates are. So that's one thing that hurts when you are kind of away from your teammates. You play around cover in a way that does trap you a little bit. So maybe we'll start noticing that. But yep, moving on.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, see if you notice cover trapping you when you are far away from your teammates.
It's time to drop, shock, and rock. Reloading. Speed on left. We should head this way. Contact. Enemy shield.
All right, same sort of thing. That guy's just looking away from us.
Yeah.
Let's relocate here.
Tout d'œil, tu peux me raser.
Tango down. Give it a swing.
Nice. Okay, so could you feel an anticipation that you were about to turn that seer, he had no HP, but did you feel like you were about to turn that guy and slow him down a little bit?
Like when I slided on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, start
Like I
noticing
remember
that.
I remember watching a like VOD review, or not a VOD review, but like I was just watching a VOD where you mentioned the like sliding thing when in R5. I think it was Husky Gray. I don't know how to say.
Oh
his name.
yeah. Yeah, the turning slow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, make like whatever name that you end up with that is going to help you a lot. Like more than anything else that we can talk about, what I really want you to take away from the sessions is we're going to go over a lot of different fundamentals, and you just need a name. That's really all you need. You just need a name for them, or a symbol, or anything, preferably a name.
Tango near me. Eating lead. Head this way. Lost the mic. He's down.
Fuck, that was bad.
Yeah, that felt different. That felt like a different thing.
Yeah.
That felt like
I kinda wanted to-
simping. That was the simp sensation. A little
I
bit.
just wanted to help my teammates.
Exactly. The
I was
simps
simped.
worshipping our teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll screenshot that. You'll remember that. That's that is the most common mistake that I see while coaching in game is the simp feeling when you kind of start to prioritize other people a lot. Like right there, I felt like you are really prioritizing the enemy and your teammate. I knew you were uncomfortable, right? And
Yeah.
I felt like you didn't realize, or you didn't feel how desperate that felt. Sim sensation. We'll call it that. / worship. Enemy / teammate. Yeah, our teammates are always going to be doing stupid stuff, just like we are. So you've always got to have a gauge for whatever you want to call it. Simp sensation is my favorite thing to call it. All right, so look at my screen and let's just give names to these things that came up. And then when you feel it in game, you can just reference it easier. So let's go in order of what was the most common. So basically this angle gap thing with your teammates, where when somebody is vulnerable to you moving in a way that increases damage, either by moving to their side or when they're running away from you and you don't have to jiggle. Really, what we're looking at is like that urge to move when we don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can simplify it to something like that, urge to move when we don't have to. And I'm curious, what is like the first word or phrase that comes to your mind when, you know, from this point? Because I don't want to say urge to move when we don't have to, when we're VOD reviewing. I want to say donut 64 or something stupid.
One thing that comes to my mind is like 0%.
All right, tell me about that.
I feel like it's just like their movement speed, because like when you are like looking straight at them and they are looking straight at you, and like they're aiding strafing, they're like moving at 100%.
I got you. And it's always like a scale of how much we're messing this up. This 0% default. It's almost like you understand that in the game there's gonna be scenarios where they are just automatically 0%, and we have to understand the distraction to this. So the urge. So like this kind of brings my mind to the urge very, very easily. So I like this. This works for me as well.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't like I know that like that happens. Like people are gonna like be like really slow on your screen when they aren't like looking at you, but it just like doesn't come to my mind that easily usually in game.
Yeah. So the way I want this to be happening in your head is while you're playing, just play and see how you are. Like once you get this concept in your mind, you might want to replicate it or encourage it even. I want you to continue to see how you play. And obviously all of this is easier said than done, but just see how bad we fuck this up, basically. Just without thinking that I'm watching you, potentially, right? So when you're on your own, you're playing with teammates, it's always like you're in the game, you're having fun, you're immersed. I do believe that is the best way to learn. And then in the correct time and place where it feels the best for you to reflect on it, either right as you die, talking with your teammates, in a VOD, all of those things are good options. But I don't want you to be trying to do anything that I teach you. We're just working on awareness. So easier said than done. You're going to do whatever your brain ends up actually wanting to do, and we're just going to, go from there in reality. But that is what I'm after. Makes sense?
I feel like I have like trouble with that. Like I when I reflect on my like skills, I usually think, oh, I should have done that. Like that's the way I have like thought about it. Oh, I should have strafed more to the left, but
All right.
yeah, it wasn't like.
We can talk about
It
this.
doesn't work like that.
Yeah, we can talk about this so much. So the easiest way, the most simple way to basically balance this out, because we cannot get rid of it. I cannot just tell you like the first thing that my head comes up with, maybe this will help a little bit, is should have is like a hypothesis. Your real hypothesis, however, is how you truly play and focus. It's all of that, and it's everything that goes through your head. That's really the true hypothesis that we can test, that we actually have data for, that is actually real, you know, the actual gameplay that exists. And so this leads me more to a witnessing sort of mindset. That definitely helps me a lot. Might help you, maybe not. But what I'll say for you is, what I would do is I would journal or express in any way the way that this messes you up. So don't look for a reason for this. Don't look to fix this. This is the most important thing that I could teach you at the beginning of any of my sessions. This will change everything in the future. Don't try to fix stuff. Like, this is an experiment. Don't try to fix stuff, and don't look for a reason for why you mess stuff up, a reason that you should do something. In reality, there is an impact to be observed. So just observe impact and realize that this is like an infinite concept, right? So the same way that the first thing we did in this session was we watched the same 2-second frame over and over, instead of like, you should do this and you should do that, we watched and we consumed and we digested and we witnessed what we felt when going to that. It was not like doing anything correctly at all. It was just pure experiment. Make sense? Pure witnessing. So yeah, when you play, if you notice that, like, you can give that a name too. That will help us a lot. Like some sort of distraction or something, I don't know. But we can talk about that. And the more that you talk about it affecting you. So for example, observe impact. What I'm really talking about, for example, is like, my aim is literally feeling more chunky. My awareness of the enemy is feeling more blurry. My awareness of my teammates is affected XYZ way. These are not reasons, and these are not solutions. It is just pure compassion with yourself, right? That's all it is. And so, like, I'm prefacing this in a weird way because what you brought up, it is a very deep thing that you're going to be able to remember for a very long time. We can't just do tons with it in a single session. So I just want you to take that away in your own way and work on it over time, on accidents. And then we'll go back to the fighting and stuff here. And if you feel it affecting you, you can bring it up. So, witness.
Hostile. Danger close.
Down to mark. Return to the field. Attention. I bagged him up.
Back to enemy shield. Reloading. Smoke out.
The screen share is a bit laggy sometimes. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. It's definitely good enough though. So don't worry about it if you can't do anything about it.
I don't think I can do anything.
Alright. It's only occasionally anyway, so we're good.
Spotted. Double timing it. Give my shield a reach up. Target spotted. Broken enemy shield. Reloading.
Right there, both. I think both those guys were a bit surprised for you to peek them. Second guy, not so much.
Yeah.
So if you notice that urge fighting against you, try to notice something, you know, see how you notice it. And see if you want to say anything about it. And that will help you a lot.
Reloading. Upgrades.
Right there, Prairie, that felt good.
Watch my back.
This is annoying.
Yeah, so you remember that angle gap thing I was talking about
Yeah.
in the close range scenarios? It also works right now. So the enemy formation, like imagine the 3v3 formation here, and imagine the angle that everyone is facing. And now you're starting to get an angle gap from the side, using your teammates as tanks, basically. Since you play Bangalore, it also makes me feel a lot more safe for you to be out towards the side and getting angle gap. At this point, I feel like the enemy's just gone, but
Yeah.
does that make sense? The angle gap thing applies at every range with your teammates as well.
Yeah, I do feel like it makes sense.
Cool, cool, cool.
Because if my teammates draw attention, I'm gonna have a like angle on them.
Yeah, yeah.
If I do have an angle like relative to my
Yeah.
teammates.
So did you feel yourself like kind of stagnant there? Like the angle gap was stagnant when it felt maybe vulnerable?
Against that fuse that knuckled me. I think
Cool,
it
cool,
felt like not good.
All right, especially versus the fuse that knuckled me. Perfect.
Hostile right here. Let's reposition here. Got a live one out there.
I don't know what is going on.
Shot at. Opening fire on our prey.
Problem? I feel like we're letting down our tank right now. I feel like our boy Vantage. I feel a little bit passive. I feel a little bit passive
Yeah.
with how much our Vantage is getting attention. And we have 2 smokes. And there's 2 people here still. Damn, that sucks. Did you know there were 2 people there?
No, I didn't.
Okay, okay.
I got like confused on like the enemies and also my Genesis guy. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I was only aware of our Vantage shooting 1 guy there.
Yeah.
So
Hold on tight. It's time to drop, shock, and rock. What's up?
I'm also a noob.
Thought I enemy shield. Reload. Off in the chimney. Taking fire.
Nice.
Enemy shield.
Ooh,
Broken enemy shield. Tango down. Went up a
let's
level.
chill.
I earned this upgrade.
Bro. Oh my god. They're just running away.
Oh yeah.
Energy ammo
You
here.
seem scared to chase them. Oh, they just portaled away hard.
Yeah, it's
I see, I see.
not fun to go through the portal.
Oh.
Let's relocate there. Rings moving. Hustle up.
Did you know any of their HP when they portaled?
I knew one was low, but I had no idea like
I see,
where that one guy was.
I see, I see.
Reloading.
That low ammo alert is
Yeah, it's constantly on my screen.
that is cancerous
Usually
for
carry low
sure.
platforms. Let's go this way.
What?
Safety's off.
I like how you get your teammates to move around. That is actually pretty uncommon for me to see.
Yeah, you won't believe this. I watched, I think it's the most recent YouTube VOD of you
The
coaching
husky.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and we went over that a lot, huh? Cause that motherfucker doesn't ping.
Giving him the chimney.
So what do you? What do
Those
you
were actually good smokes.
yeah, I feel like we're scared right now, and I'm not sure what of. Now I do.
An enemy shield. Grenade. Give my shields a recharge.
I guess they were just two
Just like
on the roof.
it's so hard to get angles,
Yeah.
Pop in the chimney.
except I'm Bangalore.
Oh
and I'm
my goodness.
stupid.
Yeah, I feel like your smokes feel very rushed. The simping to get these smokes out, even though they're not the most passionate.
My shields a recharge.
Yeah, I feel like my smokes are bad.
I feel the same sort of rush that I do when yes, just the simp sensation. It's like, what's the problem with taking your time with the smoke? You know, like who are you simping for? What are you simping for? What are you scared of? What's pushing you to rush and have these smokes fail?
Cracked an enemy shield. Spotted. Double timing it. Give my ambush. There's another squad.
I got Kraber from my behind.
Recharging my shield.
Give my shields a recharge.
Simping. I keep feeling the simp feeling. So you just peeked 3 people at the same time, and you kept peeking it, even though you had their attention.
Yeah.
It's like when your teammates tank for you, you don't want to let them down. When you tank for your teammates, you don't want to let them down. Right there, you took so much damage. Your teammates were benefiting from you getting 3 people's attention on you. You were helping them a lot, but you were also peeking still, so you can just hold their aggro.
Yeah, I should have like stayed in cover a bit.
Yeah, there's
bit more
that.
at
There's
least.
that should.
Yeah,
just
there's-
notice that. Just notice
Bro.
it. You can't. Hey, you can't fix it. Just notice it.
Yeah.
See how it fucks you up.
Cracked an enemy shield. Pop in the chimney. Double timing it. Reloading. Give my shields a recharge.
I wonder what happens if I go up.
Fuck it. Face the consequences.
Nothing. Okay.
Check your sectors. Another squad is incoming. Give it in the chimney. Double timing it. Cracked an enemy. Watch the mic. Spotted. There's another squad. Pop in the chimney. Cracked an enemy shield. Spotted. Double timing it. 45 seconds. Grenade car. Reloading.
I don't know why they aren't bleeding out.
Gotcha.
Sorry, what was that?
This guy isn't bleeding out. I don't know if it might be like
Hold tight.
there's no revives anymore. There's a fucking fighting squad.
Double timing it.
You didn't see that.
I like that. Like the way you position. So if that guy kills your teammate, you just get 100 damage on him for free.
Yeah, on the Mirage.
Yeah, you like instantly maneuvered to where the 90-degree side angle would be. No, that was a fucking mirage, huh? That's funny.
Final
Yeah.
closing in. It's gonna be foobar. Putting down an evac
Ooh,
tower.
a little bit of a
See.
surprise.
It might be on the roof.
This is pretty sick. This feels pretty cool.
Oh,
Nice. Okay, did you feel that guy turn and slow? I know it was a very small example, but it's actually significant from those ranges where it was not that surprising that you forced that guy to move left, but you did. Or to aim left.
I do feel like after, like I have been paying attention in R5 to the like when it's like kind of medium range. I didn't at first. I didn't like realize that the angle gap is still like relevant in that.
Yeah.
So I started to like try to pay attention to it, like them slowing down when you're like at medium range, and doing like trying to like get to their side.
Cool. Yeah.
So you know it might be that I have been like noticing it a bit more.
Yeah, I feel like I felt it. So what are like the last sort of cringes that are on your mind from that, just that last circle, basically, like the first things that pop into your head?
I didn't look at the squad count. I had no idea how many squads there were alive.
Oh shit. Okay.
If I'm being completely honest,
That is a
like
big
I
one.
should have definitely looked at the squad count. Also, I didn't know about the like positioning of the enemies. I feel like when I swinged that Mirage, I think it was a Mirage. I had no idea he was there, and I was like in a open position. Even though I did like win against him, it kind of felt bad being so open.
Yeah, it felt there's something that feels good about being open, where he's about to peek around cover and you're in the open, so you can move left and right freely, but he cannot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that did feel good. It did feel bad that he surprised you. It did feel good that you were playing that in like a sneaky way, you know what I mean? You were like not in a stance where it's really bad if you got surprised. You did go into sprint animation as he surprised you though, and then you jumped to the left. That felt really bad. So the way that you moved in response, I feel like that definitely
Like
bit you.
when the Mirage like challenged me.
Yeah, and you just jumped all the way to the left.
I think I slided. Did I jump?
I think you jumped, but I could be wrong. Either way, I felt predictable.
Okay, yeah. It felt like I slided. I don't know.
All right.
I can't like recall.
All right. Either way, slide, jump, same thing. Just like a, enforced, rigid movement. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to notice some new stuff. I feel like we're able to actually just leave a lot of the stuff we talked about already behind, and then we can also, if you want, we can laser anything that we've gone over and go into like basically what is hurting you between doing these things naturally, because now that like we've talked about these things, you're gonna notice them, but we can go deep into, for example, moving the enemy, the way you move them with your keyboard and all of your inputs.
Yeah.
Like there's a disconnect between how much it's gonna move them and what you are actually feeling, and we can discover sort of like the things that are commonly hurting that. So
Yeah.
it's hard to
I feel like I'm most like interested about like the mechanic stuff. That's like what I have been grinding.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
and yeah. But the smokes and the like simping that felt really bad.
Okay. So if you want, we can actually go into like R5 and do something where we are like focusing very heavily on just the feeling of your aim, the feeling of your movement on the enemy, that sort of thing. Because just knowing these concepts is one thing, and another thing is like actually challenging them. So I will be challenging you to notice what feels bad specifically about missing, like we want to look at it like we want to miss more beautifully, not just think about it like just hit our shots. Just like we're gonna go in, we're gonna spam people, and we're gonna notice, oh, when I'm missing my shots, there tends to be feeling X, feeling Y, and maybe even feeling Z. And once you uncover that, it will be hard to aim the same way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we can see where that goes. That usually is pretty unexpected. And yeah, we'll find out.
Do I go into lifesteal?
No, don't do lifesteal.
Hopefully, oh fuck.
Yeah, oh, please, R5, please. That is in.
Nice.
Alright, I'm trying to go over some of the stuff that got the least amount of attention that I started to notice before we move on to this. The simp sensation definitely started to show itself a lot more when you started Bangalore smoking, if you remember that, and also when you were tanking for your teammates. So when you were peeking 3 people at the same time, it's like you're mechanically capable of peeking 3 people at the same time and it not being a disaster, right? That's great, but you still do it. So remember that. And then the vulnerable angle gap at the long range with your team formation. So basically angle gap, team formation, matchup, weakness, connection. Next, team formation. Possible feelings. Stagnation, tightness. When you're going through these notes on your own, just make sure you're letting me know, like, whatever you're focusing on and whatever's most confusing. I can help you always, unless it's, you know, very clear. You don't have to message me, but yeah, I'm always trying to help. Alright, let's just watch this. And holy moly, this is laggy. This is laggy. We might still be able to do some stuff with this laggy ass screen share. But can you lower the quality on Discord?
Let me see. I'm gonna restart it. I have to like share my screen one because it doesn't. The R5 doesn't like show up in my
Weird.
other things.
That sucks.
I can lower the FPS,
Yeah.
but like not.
Word, yeah, that works. Cool. Alright, I'm going to basically cringe and point it out, and maybe we could use colors or something to represent it and see what happens. So the first thing I noticed in the first second that I joined the screen share is that the guy you were fighting did a 90-degree turn very predictably, and we were like rushed. So the combination of the rush feeling, also the turning slow feeling, it's just a combination. So I'm gonna point out next time I feel that. If it's really bad, I'll say red. If it's just chill, I'll say green. Orange, I guess, for that. Green, not much turning. Green, not much turning, but a lot of fast turning, so maybe yellow. Red, that was good. That was really good. Green, orange, definitely. Okay. Do you remember feeling his tracers get to you? And whenever I talk, you can just not pay attention to the game. It's okay. I don't want to distract you, but that kill, that fight that I'm talking about, did you feel his tracers catching up to you slowly?
No, not really.
All right, so we'll see next time you miss that, and we'll just try to catch you missing that. So I noticed that guy's tracers 2 times were kind of slowly catching up to you. Right here too. I feel like you're doing a good job of getting them to turn. In general, I get those tracers turning and the enemy slowing. And there, that felt like no turning, no force, no surprise. It felt like you were not turning the enemy at all. Nice, we got some turns in.
Oh my god.
Okay, so there it's the opposite. It's like when they're in a place where they are hard to turn, they're gonna be faster, and it felt like that was surprising. They're gonna be like, you know, the opposite exists. When they are not turning, they are fast. They're fucking fast. So we're just gonna keep cringing and cringing and cringing. Nice, you caught that guy perfectly. Alright, this is sort of a new feeling. So let me know if it gets too mixed. We're definitely going to be focusing on some things, but when that guy jumped over your head, we don't have to dodge. It's the same thing we've been talking about in the team play sort of stuff. Once that enemy jumps, it's just GG. But we see ourselves tending to jiggle a little bit long during that period. I'm starting to get a feeling where when you get to somebody's side, this is the same feeling as the jumping feeling. When someone is like ultra vulnerable, there's still a bit of jiggling.
Yeah.
So if you tell me what that feels like, I'll be able to help you a lot more.
It feels like I'm just like used to them moving, and I'm expecting them to like move.
I see.
But it's like
you don't feel how
like
surprising.
move.
It's like you don't feel how surprising you really are, in a way, to me.
Yeah.
Because every time you get surprising, there's a small period of angle gap that is basically guaranteed. A small period of the enemy slowing down, that's pretty much guaranteed. And
Yeah.
we just always have to check in with our disconnect, because it's always a balance. It's always a sense. Like here, I feel like this is a big one that I'm starting to feel. When you get the enemy to move a lot, like jiggle, or when you're getting them to turn a lot, but in small frequent amounts, like right now, I'm seeing a lot of chunkiness with your aim. Like your aim feels rushed, it feels chunky, yet you are doing a good job of actually getting them to flail their mouse around. So realize every time they over aim and have chunky aim as well, they're slowing down. I just don't feel like you feel it very vividly.
Yeah.
Just in the sign that your aim is still very rushed feeling when you're slowing them down successfully.
Yeah. I usually do feel like I feel when I know this when I'm being surprising, but I don't. It's hard to like feel how it like affects them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
The thing that we're really noticing is when we don't feel it. Like, we're not trying to feel it. We're trying to notice what we don't feel and notice the numbness, really. Like, we're giving detail to numbness so that it grows into an actual feeling. That was beautiful.
Yeah, he was stuck.
Like right here, I definitely feel it a little bit, but it definitely feels like it's getting like better. Like you're getting that, you got that guy to turn like 50 times, you know what I mean? And it felt like you actually felt the movement speed slow a little bit. Nice. Yeah, it feels like he's staying more on the center of your screen, like floating there. That's unfortunate.
My movement fucked me up there.
Oh my god. It definitely feels like you're starting to feel the slow differently.
Yeah.
Right there it stood out a little bit weak. So really what we're trying to do, we're trying to point out when it feels weak. So since it seems like you're starting to get this, start pointing out to me when you are numb to it. When it's like, oh, I slowed them more than I thought I did. Like right there, that was a perfect one, right? So now you see what I'm talking about, right? It feels good to just go with the, you know, the worst feeling. It like you trust yourself to play, and then boom, there's always a perfect example of something that you're working on, right?
Yeah, he basically stayed in place while I was.
Hey, and now we're 14-0. Coach Snoopy.
That was fun. The last shot.
All right, so just I just want you to be curious about the failure. You know, just you know, wonder, am I gonna be unaware? How is it gonna be? What's it gonna be like this time? And we can see with Wingman, it applies differently in a very interesting way, and it's just something you're gonna get used to mostly, and then we're gonna move on from there with guns like that and shotguns as well. We're just lasering them. Motherfucker just got microwaved. Ooh, okay. So there he was reloading, swapping guns. This is a whole different new topic of gun advantage. But yeah, he was reloading and swapping guns, and we were jiggling. And there we gave him our side because we were waiting to flick with the PK. I understand wanting to wait to flick with the PK. I'm not saying to not do it, but just notice how it messes you up. You'll balance it a little bit more.
I rarely do that, but when I do it, I do usually notice it. Like
Cool. Yeah, I want you to notice the angle gap that you're giving them. I want you to make sure you don't miss out on that, like the way that it hurts you.
I lost all my momentum. Messed up the slide.
That's so close. Ooh, right there. That was a good example. That was a really good example. So it's like anytime you sense a sense of disconnect, because that guy was hella slow and we missed all our shots. It's just like, damn. We just calibrating. For real. Nice. Okay. So the jumping thing felt better, and then it felt worse when he jumped the second time.
Yeah. he got like so much vertical from that.
Yeah. That was a little bit surprising. Yeah, when people are landing and they're next to a wall, we can notice that we're unsuspecting of the fatigue bounce. In that way. Nice. I can see you just like jiggling these people just to slow them down almost. Sometimes. That's what it feels like. Isn't that cool how it like takes jiggling, which usually people think that makes it harder to aim, and it actually makes it so much easier because you realize they are flailing their fucking mouse around. Like, look at those tracers. All right, so that is a repetitive feeling that you were dying from in the games, where you're next to a wall for like a long time. You're just next to cover that traps you a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I just feel like I don't know how to aim with the wingman. Like I do struggle with it a lot.
Can you pick loadouts in? Like, if you want to focus on wingman, we can focus on it. But
I don't know how.
oh, okay. Maybe we'll do that in the future because we're getting to like an hour, and so let's cap this off and just get it really nail it down because it looks like you are learning this.
Ja, Ferrari mit R5.
All right, I'm gonna give you a quest. I'm gonna give you a quest. This is the big slammer quest usually. Now that you understand the slows that exist, this is gonna really apply. I want you to pretend that your keyboard and your mouse do not do anything at all to you. It's just purely the world. It only moves the world. It moves the enemy hitbox primarily and the rest of the world. What I want you to focus on, or the only feelings that I really care about that I'm going to be asking about, are the sensation of the enemy turning. So like right now you can feel yourself turning the hitbox a little bit, right? Small degrees of turning.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me about when you feel numb to that. So when you find blind spots or periods of numbness to just the enemy turning. That's the only thing I'm going to care about. And any surprising feelings you get. Especially cringe. Nice. Ooh, I felt that. That was nice. That like, you started trying to move them. I don't know. You started moving them like jerkily when they were very smooth.
I think I felt it with the Mastiff there, like the last game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What was it like?
I mean, it just felt like I had no idea how to move him with my Mastiff.
I see. I see.
Maybe it's the same with like Wingman.
Yeah.
I don't know how to move them with like R99 and voltage easier.
Yeah. Does it feel like there's a visual element to it? Like, I feel like with the wingman, a lot of people don't want to look at the target, so they don't want to have like a visual clutter on them. They just want to look away so that it's more clear, and then flick.
Yeah, that felt bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Go back to the turning sensation. We're only gonna focus on literally just the feeling of them turning. So I want to know when there's a disconnect and what that disconnect feels like. Turning sensation.
Again with the wingman.
Yeah,
Definitely
I can feel it too. Okay, so what I'm feeling with your wingman is that you're so tight feeling with the wingman. When the wingman is faster than the Volt, it's faster than any other gun that you've used so far, yet your dodge with the wingman doesn't seem to reflect. So you actually seem like you turn the enemy less in a way with the wingman overall. And you can look at this turning feeling as a resource. They are going to feel the turning a certain amount, so are you. The feeling is a resource, and also the actual in-game impact. So you could be turning someone not feeling it, not turning someone feeling it, a combination of both, and you're doing that against the enemy at all times. So it is like a resource of surprise, disconnect, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I have seen like patterns to like some players having like they're basically doing a AD like spam, but somehow it just feels like harder to hit.
Yeah.
So like
Point that out. Yeah. As you
but
start to notice.
usually
Oh yeah.
yeah, go on.
As you start noticing this, I want you to like point out, and then I want to see what you point out the most, and then see what you point out, and then I'll try to get you to point out more stuff about it. Like right there, that guy felt like he was turning you more than him. So you can point out the matchup, you know, when the matchup sticks out in any way, but just view it in the lens of the turning sensation. Like what I'm feeling is the enemy not turning, the enemy looking at you, the enemy getting towards the side of your screen, or forcing you to turn your strafe and curve it more than theirs. And I'm just looking at that in the visual of their hitbox. So like right now we're seeing that thing flail back and forth. Yeah, no, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I noticed like noticing the slow when I did that movement. Like it should have been like more.
You noticed the disconnect?
It as much.
Okay.
Yeah, disconnect.
Cool. Yeah, tell me about that as you notice it. It's really good. I want you to notice something new about the disconnect every time. There's always going to be something different that stands out. It might be hard to articulate, but there will be something new about the disconnect every single time. When the enemy jumps, I notice that it's that simp sensation. There's like a rush even though they lose all control. So you don't have to shoot them immediately, you know.
I think I thought about that today, that exact thing.
Yeah, I feel like sorry to cut you off, but I feel like the big thing that hurts there is that you're prioritizing moving over feeling. It's like, let's say you throw a water bottle up in the air and you try to catch it as fast as possible. You're trying to catch a blurry feeling water bottle. Whereas if you wait 0.05 seconds, that water bottle is going to be clear and you're going to catch it 10 times faster. You know what I mean? So it actually makes you faster.
Yeah, definitely.
But you've got to have compassion for the rush feeling.
Plunkness again.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel a new type of repetitive feeling with these scenarios that have just happened the past 4 fights, I guess, where they're jiggling a lot, they're flailing their mouse around a lot. You're doing a good job of slowing them down, and that chunkiness that we felt earlier is completely different. So that feels really good. And then the next layer of cringe that we're on now is like, well, there is this bouncy feeling, you know what I mean? It evolves into this weird, it's always evolving into a weird abstract feeling. Like now we've got this weird bouncy feeling. You feel more attached to their hitbox and the turning sensation, but still there's a little bit of when you're strafe, I think it's that strafe acceleration thing. Back at that again, when you're accelerating and changing acceleration, when people are changing acceleration, there's this feeling that people are accelerating in a bouncy way, and we can see that in your aim. We can see your aim bouncing the enemy hitbox around. It's not about how much you move that dot on your screen. That dot on your screen is always in the center. It is about what the enemy feels like, the world. Remember, like the clarity you have on the turning sensation. It's all about your contact with the enemy hitbox.
Yeah.
Mentally. Alright, bouncy's turning into chunky. So we'll just keep noticing and noticing. Alright, more bouncy. That felt good. That felt like improvement. Bouncy once again. A little chunky. Just barely chunky. Alright, I'm noticing something. So this chunkiness that I'm noticing is very common on the early part of your peaks and trades. And I'm also noticing that in the early parts of your trades, you're not looking at the enemy sideways. I want you to take into account network lag, enemy reaction speed. You're working with 200 to 250 milliseconds of human reaction speed on your side to fly out of cover and get people to turn a guaranteed amount, just like that. They're gonna have to react, and they're gonna have to, you know.
I rushed my shot.
Ooh, like right there, we felt those tracers. Oh, we feel the tracers again curving. Okay, just feeling them turn.
I feel like I'm not feeling the like tracers curving.
Yeah, we could focus on that for a little bit. Let's do that. So notice, I want you to point out when their tracers happen to curve more than you expect. So when you see them moving in an unexpected way. Like right there, those tracers felt unexpectedly slow for how close they were to you. And that's giving me information on how fast they're moving because of the slow of the curved strafe. That guy's tracers did not feel like they moved a ton far away from you, but he was still missing a lot. So that tells us his movement speed is faster in the moment. Alright, so there we have something that you have been victim of a lot and that you were not punishing the enemy for. So you had a big advantage in that fight where that guy was next to a box where he was not able to move freely.
Oh yeah.
You were able to move freely, yet you stood in a spot that kind of doesn't pressure that concept. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Cool, cool. Nice. That was very, very nice. And then he started to turn a lot, but it felt like he was going to move more. Alright, big curve, 62 damage. Notice that. Notice that. See, when you find the worst feeling of this, that's what you really got to focus on. Like, take as much from that as you can. Just what the feeling is like, even the first color that pops into your head. Like, stuff like that. Just whatever you can use to bookmark it. Anything at all. Like, where you feel it in your body is very important as well. And what it's like. See there, wingman, we're not curving him. We're not throwing any unexpected long strafes. I feel like this is a very big thing with you. You're very good at using a small amount of space. Like, I am impressed by how well you can dodge with a small amount of space, but you consistently are not dodging out of the box. Like, rest and look at my screen real quick.
I don't know if rest works in like the EU.
Oh well, just look at my screen and just let him kill you. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me when you're looking.
Yeah.
Alright, so what I'm seeing a lot is this size box versus this size box. It's like you're kind of a fucking beast at using this size box. This is what the common person uses as well, but you're just like diff, right? You are actually very good at this. However, how often are you just breaking this unexpectedly? Because you're able to unexpectedly be in this box, but I'm not seeing any of this like breaking free, and I'm not seeing any of this from the enemy usually too. Every once in a while you see an enemy who does this and it gets you to actually use your reaction speed, because in a moment like this where we're small box versus small box, our brains have just simply locked on to the situation, and that's usually how it feels when you're fighting, right? It's just like you just focus, and then the first thing that kind of boggles your mind is usually when they unexpectedly go long for just a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Now, when you unexpectedly go long, I'm noticing two things. Firstly, you don't do it a lot. I'm not noticing it a lot. You're not getting the enemy to turn these big degrees of 50, 60, 90, 100 degrees, and getting them to slow down a lot. What you are doing is you're able to get a 30-degree angle gap many, many, many times in this matchup. So this matchup, seriously, like, good shit. But I want you to see how big of a possible angle gap you can get just by abusing this, just like fucking it up as horrendously as possible. Just notice how you do this already. Don't go out there and start long strafing. Just notice everything that I just pointed out, right? And then notice the next thing that's big is that when you do tend to do this, you kind of like, you mix in the jiggling over here when you still have an angle gap.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll still have an angle gap like this, yet you will be jiggling just like you were over here. You'll do
just
it.
default back to it.
Yeah, and it makes sense why you're stuck, because when you happen to get a big angle gap, like, this is surprising, this is uncommon plus ruining it with jiggle when we get it. So the variables that are important is like human reaction speed, so think of like 200 milliseconds, network speed, so how fast the game is actually going to have your hitbox in front of where you actually are. So when you unexpectedly get all the way over here, the enemy is not seeing you here, they are seeing you here. So that means that the angle gap has a benefit. They don't think the situation is as urgent as it is, which means when you unexpectedly break the box, you can go further. You can go a lot further.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it was like a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, I think I experimented with this, like,
Cool.
just like inputting more like longer strafes, just like not just like doing it consciously, like doing longer strafes.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt better.
Mm-hmm.
But so somehow I just like defaulted back to like shorter strafes.
Yeah, I think these two feelings are the biggest things. Like, just look at how you ruin them, right? And the benefit. So the benefit is huge DPS boost.
Yeah. The full story was I was playing the lifesteal mode, and I was like struggling on like killing people because I had such short strafes. So I just like started to experiment, and I just like found more success with longer strafes.
Yeah.
Usually like mixing, of course, it up, but
Cool. So let's just I'll focus on that for now for a little bit.
yeah.
Because everything that we pointed out, like, I feel like you're quite good at understanding this stuff. But yeah, now the next thing is basically this thing that ruins it all, which is when you get a big gap, I can expect you to be jiggling and jiggling and jiggling and jiggling. There you go. See, with the wingman, you can feel how much you can actually turn them when you get longer strafes in. Ooh, it's so laggy again.
Oh fuck.
Oh, I think you just have to change the quality, I guess. I forgot what happened. I don't know why it's so laggy.
I have to change what?
Yeah, just change the quality or something.
Yep.
Or maybe you're still looking at my screen. Maybe that's lagging you. I don't know.
It could be.
All right. So can you see that the direction we're going kind of wraps up the stuff we previously talked about? Like with your teammates, this is all that team stuff that we were talking about as well. It's just on a 1v1 situation, because the resource that we're after is just, you know, it's just like angle gap and ease of shooting.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god. I'm getting hope.
I still do feel like I'm putting the unnecessary strafes in, but
Yeah, exact. Perfect. Like,
yeah, it's good to notice
yeah,
it.
yeah. We're not doing any of this correctly.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. There's no such thing. Nice, 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 nice. And notice how not used to it you are. So that feeling that we just had, I want you to be able to tell me what that felt like when you long strafed to the left there and slowed the fuck down out of that guy, but you missed every shot, you know. So what was missing? Like, there we go, slowing them down with the wingman. You could feel their strafe start to curve, right, with that last strafe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, we're seeing their side. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice, 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 nice. You see, you start to find the limits of how little you actually have to dodge, of how or how short your strafes actually have to be at the minimum to be able to farm these gaps.
Yeah.
And as you get a balance for it, it's a very deep skill. This is just the beginning.
I felt it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, start pointing out when you feel it. You don't have to go into detail. You can just point out when you feel it, and then when that adds up, I'm sure you'll have something to say about it. Nice.
That felt good.
Yeah, I felt that too. That felt very different.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean,
There, I felt us moving diagonally a lot when we were at the middle of his screen, which means we're not really forcing him to turn. Like, we could look at his hitbox and see that it was not really turning. So the angle that you move specifically is always relative to the enemy hitbox, not so much the cover around you. Nice. That was beautiful.
that felt good.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get like the most vivid feeling of this, you can draw a fucking picture if you want. Like, that's what I do, right? You can make a word, you can draw a picture.
Ah, that felt bad.
Yep.
I rushed the shot.
You'll start to notice that like surprise becomes the main resource, right? It's like, as long as you are not messing up the strafes, now you'll realize you're messing up maybe the surprise matchup where it's like, oh, I'm strafing in a way where it's like I'm surprising and I'm not. That becomes sort of like the new disconnect. And this sort of thing will just always be there for you to
I got turned.
explore. Nice, 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 nice.
That felt different.
Yeah, it did. Felt like a banana. Guy was moving like in the banana form. Ooh, right here, right here. I don't like that. So that guy, we knew that we felt that guy jiggling, and we're just jiggling against him. When you can just turn him sideways. You know.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you turn a jiggling target to their side? You know, they've got to move all of that shifting momentum back and forth into a different angle.
Yeah, it's just with like a single shot weapons, I feel like the angle gap is like more like less noticeable, the angle gap, when I use single shot weapons.
Yeah,
like a mastiff or a
yeah.
wingman.
I think so too. I think that I see that almost on every play where they miss a lot of wingman massive shots because they miss free timing, because they are not able to slow the enemy down a lot, as they want to flick, which makes it so the enemy can see their side, which means that they're not moving to the enemy side as fast. It's like this big chain of events. Basically, when people have shotguns out, my pain is they prioritize hitting their shots more than actually moving and turning the enemy and guaranteeing shots. If you just force the enemy to turn with a shotgun, you're going to be able to hit them because they will slow down.
Yeah.
But it's always a balance, just like I'm saying. See right there, I felt the timing of our second strafe was just a little bit slow, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
it's like, how much can we milk with their reaction speed? And it looks like you're milking them as hard as you can, but way too much, right? So that's good. Like I like that type of mistake. You are using the smallest amount of reaction speed for the most amount of angle gap. Feels really good. You're gonna get punished for it a lot of time and get a lot better. But it's the opposite of that perma jiggling, and it goes back to that simp sensation, you know. You'll start to see people jiggling as you did, and like, bro, you don't need to be jiggling that crazy just to surprise somebody and guarantee some damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the bare minimum. You just gotta surprise them and get some damage. See right there, that was a very good example. When you got to that guy's side with the PK, you did not expect him to be that slow.
Yeah, the vault felt better.
Yeah.
I think.
So notice
Yeah.
that next time you have a shotgun, let's see if you get to their side unexpectedly fast and miss, or you can even shoot too early before you slow them down. You know what I mean? With these burst guns, since the timing becomes so different. Nice. That felt forceful at the end. Like you didn't have to be surprising at all, since you had more
Yeah.
HP. Just pure force and just murder. Just get him to turn as much. Remember that chunky feeling we were talking about and the bouncy feeling?
Yeah, I feel like it's less frequent.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it's very different. Like, what would we call that now? Because we're talking about the same disconnect, right? What does that disconnect feel like now? Feels like a piece of paper to me. Like, it feels very, very tight with the enemy. Like a fucking piece of paper in between you and the enemy. It's nice. God damn. That was kind of swag.
Brutal.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's that shotgun feeling we were looking for. You absolutely did not do what I expected you to do, so that feels amazing. You shot right when he was like perma slow. Perfect. Oh. You see, there's that sweet spot of strafe size. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god. I want like a symbol for that or something, because that felt different. Absolutely different.
Yeah, I tried to come up with symbols before, but I don't know. It's just so hard for me. I overthink it usually.
Say that again. Sorry.
I usually overthink it when I try to draft some symbols.
Oh yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's see how you overthink it. Face the consequences.
Oh god.
You don't have to do it right now. Just whenever you get the, you know. Let's cap this off soon. Let's see when you get the next like burst of feeling, and then let's make a symbol, and then we can check on it in the future. You can message me about it.
Okay. The chunkiness is
Yeah.
kinda.
You're gonna go back and forth from chunkiness, bounciness, the paper feeling like that. That's gonna be something you're definitely gonna be noticing over time. Fortunately, very fortunately.
Yeah. There it's again, chunkiness.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely.
We're getting there.
I think I was kind of dodging when I was under him.
Oh yeah. Nice. Good noticing.
What the? Spider-Man.
Felt like you let that guy turn you 90 degrees when you had
Yeah.
control, and he was really predictable. Damn, that chunkiness is just not there anymore. Like, I feel like I'm watching a different player.
Yeah, it usually come and goes with me. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's less prominent,
Cool.
and sometimes it's stronger. I don't know.
Okay. Ooh. All right, we definitely fucked that up beautifully. We had a big fuck up, but
Yeah,
a big
was-
good feeling also.
It was confusing. Like,
Yeah.
he's slow. I was really confused.
Yeah, no, keep, like, are you getting curious about that confusion? That's really what I want, is like,
Yeah.
you continue playing, and then every time you feel that confusion, you know, you don't try to fix it, you don't try to look for a reason, you just get curious about the confusion. And then you notice, oh, he was curving whatever.
He was slow.
Yeah, that was nice. I'm noticing we're starting to chain the slows. So I want to remember that.
You said you want to what?
Whenever you get like a feeling that stands out like a lot, we're gonna do a symbol.
Okay.
Just whenever you wanna cap this off, because I want it to be the last thing.
I feel like definitely like the chunkiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the most I don't know. It's like it stands out the most to me right now.
All right, cool. So we'll do that. We'll do that. All right. So there's a few things I want to symbolize. Let's start off with the chunkiness that you're talking about. First off, this is the way I do it. Just feel what you just told me about. Not the word, but the experience, like the feeling. When you say chunkiness, you feel something. So I want you to notice that. It's hard to notice this stuff, but when you've just grinded it and noticed it over and over, it's a little bit easier, right? So feel that chunkiness, where it is in your body, what color it might be, just the first things that pop into your head. If nothing pops into your head, that's also fine. Just go from where you are, right? Chunkiness, all right? Feel where it is, feel the feeling, see what game image pops into your head.
Yeah.
Anything at all, even if there's a sound to it, if it's a sharp sound versus a low sound, whatever it is, just see whatever the fuck random representations of this is going through your mind, and then just see what you inevitably draw. There's nothing else right to it.
Yeah. I feel like the target is like constantly like escaping from me, like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm just overcorrection.
Yep. So what you just made,
change.
What you just made is a unit of measurement. It's like you are the person who just invented the inch, all right? This does not mean chunky. This does not mean smooth. This means spectrum. Make sense? So it could mean chunky. It could mean bouncy. It could mean paper. Remember all that?
Yeah.
So the fluctuation, the matchup, the layer. It's a layer of the game, essentially. Unit of measurement.
I feel like I didn't really like catch on the like differences between chunkiness and bounciness.
Okay, so tell me about how your chunkiness changed throughout that period of time.
It felt like there was like it definitely felt better, but if I like the feeling when I get like I'm about to do the like chunkiness, and I'm about to like change the overcorrections, I just let it be like this one time, and then the rest doesn't happen like that. It felt like that, but it's hard to like come up with something.
Yeah. Is it like once you notice it happening honestly that it changes?
Yeah, it's like as the session went on in R5, it like gradually felt better the rest.
Cool.
Even though if I still had the first, like maybe one overcorrection, but after that the rest didn't like follow.
Yeah, there's always a range.
Usually.
There's always a range. So what you could do literally is you could imagine you're drawing a graph, and you're drawing, okay, at the beginning it's way up here, and then it dips all the way down, right? And then it eases out. And then there's a spike, right? You're just drawing a graph. Just see what graph you draw, just in like 3 seconds. Just see. It doesn't have to be, precise or anything. It's just one more detail. Yep. All right. And so do you feel like it was pretty linear, just like that? Like in a straight line?
I
Okay.
think it's more like that. At some
Interesting.
point,
Yeah, so
it
it's
like kind of went away.
yeah, it's interesting to see you literally drawing it and feeling and seeing you respond to the feeling as you draw it, right? Notice that you can do that all the time. You can do that when you're on your own. You can do that. You can do it in any way. You could look at the colors in the top and see which color stands out the most, right? Green. For some reason, my eye goes to green. I don't know why. I don't know if that's going to help me, but in the future, I'm going to see, does the green do anything for me? Okay, well, I remember the green stood out when I was focusing on it, and that's all I know, right? So my point is, we've got this main symbol, this main unit of measurement, this like chunkiness fluctuation, our sort of disconnect with the enemy hitbox, fluctuating in speeds and turning them, and the way that we are accelerating. It's so many different variables, right? But really, it's a measurement of a resource. So it's feedback. So every time you look at this symbol or you think of this symbol, you can do it any way you want. There's no correct way to do it. You're going to get feedback. Make sense? It's like if you thought about a ruler right now, you're going to have a sense of how many rulers are going to fit in your room. Same thing with Apex. You look at this symbol, how does this fit into your gameplay? Furthermore, you can create any sort of depth to this. So you can say, what graph will I make that represents this unit of measurement from this session? And that's the graph you made, right?
Yeah.
You can ask yourself any question at all. You can ask yourself, what color do I come up with? Okay. And what happens when you do this over the course of a few days, consecutively or not, is there's a pattern. You will see, okay, green, 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 red. Just like we started the session, I started pointing it out, right? Like, oh, I feel it's happening a lot. Red. It's happening a little. Green. And just by creating a layer of feedback, you create a pattern, which creates awareness, which creates development inevitably, right? So I want you to be creative with this. Like, fuck it up horribly. See how you do it. This is how I do it, right? You can do it as similar or as different. But the whole point of this session is we went over X, Y, Z, A, B, C. I want you to remember those as units of measurement, right? So that angle gap with our teammate, unit of measurement, check in on it. Be able to tell me more about it over time. Be able to tell me more about the feedback that you get. And the feedback that you're getting is usually like the first stuff that hangs on your mind, right? The chunkiness that's left over, the shit that we still want to deal with. The way that graph changes. So maybe the wind up, you could, like, here's another thing you can symbolize. Each time you go into a 1v1, each time you go into a fight, right? You're fighting person after person. You can feel the chunkiness start and end with each strafe, maybe, right? What would you symbolize with the beginning of the chunkiness, with the end of the chunkiness? Instead of looking at chunkiness sort of as a straight line, get curious about the acceleration into it with each strafe. You know what I mean? So look for just what you happen to represent, just what happens to enter your mind, because that is what you honestly are measuring. So that's the symbol sort of thing. Do you feel like that helps you with the overthinking symbols thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do feel like at first I'm gonna like struggle at it.
Yeah, just realize struggling at it is the beginning, right? It never stops. You're gonna struggle, but you're doing it. And you're gonna want to do it correctly, but you'll never do it correctly. No one will. It's just see how it affects you. That's the whole point. Just always see how it affects you. And at the end of a session, let's say you do want to practice this symbolizing thing, and let's say you come up with 2 or 3 more symbols about this chunky feeling. At the end of this, you can take every symbol, like these 2 symbols combined, you can ask yourself now, what impact pops into my head that I feel currently? Not that I'm waiting for or that I'm expecting necessarily, but what benefit do I feel already from just having made these symbols and just having whatever it does? Like for me, I feel curiosity. I feel curiosity about next time you play that chunkiness graph. How is that graph going to look different? And I'm curious what else is going to pop into your head besides that sort of graph. Are you going to go into the individual strafe acceleration? Are you going to go into the distance of the disconnect? Are you going to go into the contact between like your consciousness and the enemy hitbox turning? You can go any direction you want, right? So with a curiosity, you know, like, do you feel that sort of curiosity?
Right now, I'm curious about this.
Cool. So notice that.
Yeah. Like next time I play, I wanna like just like notice this and how it changes that like chunkiness.
Perfect. Yeah, this is like a fucking virus. It's like we're writing your brain computer viruses, and it's just like, well, cat's out of the bag now. You're just gonna be curious about it. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And like I was saying, you can combine these symbols together and go, how do I feel? Oh, curious. Oh, do I want to symbolize this curiosity? You don't actually have to go that deep and symbolize it or whatever, but I'm just saying, you can really do whatever you want with this. Yeah. You could put a fucking circle around this. You could put a box around it, and then you could say, what does the circle, what does the box feel like? You could connect them, and what does the connection feel like? There's so much stuff you can do. But yeah, really, that curiosity, I feel like, is what really matters. As long as your notes feel like they are alive, like a literal fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro.
I'm also curious about this.
Yeah. Any last like curiosities, questions? Now that I'm like yapped.
Bro, the time when I peaked 3 times.
Oh yeah, the triple peak. Is that what you're drawing right now?
Yeah, it's complicated, but
okay. So by triple peaking, I mean you peaked 3 people at once. You did also re-peak 3 times.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
So there was the triple re-peak, and then there was also the 3 people on your screen, and then there's the feeling of like your sixth sense of where people are. There's also that. You know, how blurry is that? How clear is that?
Yeah, like at the moment it felt so bad, but at the same time, it felt like I didn't get punished enough.
Definitely. I mean, so then there's another feeling that I get is like the punish feeling felt pretty bad for me, and I'm curious how bad it felt for you, because I saw us take 75% of our HP, and that's 12 seconds. So I'm curious, like, oh, is our sense of batting plus medkits 12 seconds, or is it something else? You know, it goes infinite. So this is I want to link this all the way back to the should sort of overthinking mentality, the fixing, the solving. This is the opposite, right? It's just pure curiosity, pure compassion, pure awareness, pure reality in a way. It's just like consuming, digesting. So I want to link all this back to here. It's symbols as bookmarks. I'll put it in these notes, and I'll just say digesting versus should have. We'll say witnessing. I think witnessing is more accurate, because it is an accidental thing, and I want to remind you that it is accidental. The first stuff that goes through our heads, right? So throughout this session, I didn't know what I was going to point out. You didn't know what we were going to point out. We just went through the first feedback that went through our head. We went through that. We went through the blurriness of it, and it got more vivid. And now it's all about feedback and vividness of feedback and impact, right? So that's pretty much everything. I'll send you these notes, and any last confusions or curiosities?
I mean, I feel like I wanna like get into more scrims. I do have some people that I sometimes play with, but I've only played scrims with them one time. I should ask him if I can like play with them more.
Definitely. Yeah. So
like I wanna get into like the comp scene.
Yeah. So message me as you do that. Barrier or like obstacle you feel with this, right? So the same thing we did with your mechanics. we're gonna do with your like scrim situation, right? Whatever you inevitably end up feeling that is difficult about scrimming, just witness it. You can message me about it if you want. I'll always be down to help. So yeah, I'm curious about that. I do really want to see you scrim. I love scrim VODs. Those are so fun.
I do also love scrims.
Sick. All right, I look forward to that. All right, bro. I'll send you these notes and let me know what is most confusing about them over time and how you're doing and everything. And yeah, it was my pleasure. That was fun. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same.
Saop.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, bro. Take care.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya. All right, how was that? That was pretty fun. I don't know if anyone's here still, but I do know what suka bля means. Yeah. Здравствуйте, bratan. That's about as much as I know. All right, I'm gonna recap that session. What that was like for me. That was like, I'm gonna let it sit for a bit. Ooh, that session reminds me of like gears in a clock. Wow, that's crazy because I felt this when I coached a different person a long time ago. Gears in a clock. Oh, also when oh my god, this is crazy. It's crazy how stuff comes back and back when you notice how it feels. That was really fun because we get to go so deep into simple things that are always occurring, like turning the enemy, our awareness of the turning sensation, of tanking, of having our teammates tank for us, of angle gap, like this really fundamental thing that gets way better with just maintenance. It is like a clock, just gears. It's really just gears, but you want to make sure they're smooth, and once you make sure the gears are smooth, you will find new chunkiness. As you find that new chunkiness, you will be able to nurture a new type of smoothness just by the curiosity of the chunkiness. So that was like a fucking gears in a clock session. Very interesting. Mechanics and team play. It's so cool how they go hand in hand and how they branch out into everything. Oh, my goodness. All right. Take care, everyone. I'm out of here. Peace out. Thanks for watching. And if you want a review, you can get reviews below down there. $15 for a review. If you don't want to do a full session, I will just record over your gameplay and deliver it to you. And if you want a session, we've got hour plus sessions. This was an hour plus session, which turned out to be 2 hours, so I'm out here scamming myself because that's the name of the game. And then 1.5 hour plus sessions for $60. So if y'all need help in Apex Legends, Fortnite, Valorant, the home, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know, like, we'll just figure some shit out. Peace out. Good luck. Bye.